Once you're ready, just going to really mindfully lower yourself down onto your back. So you're extending your legs out in front of you and you're slowly lowering yourself onto your back. So you could feel every part of the back of the body touch the earth. And then reaching the arms up and back behind you, offering yourself a full body stretch. So we want to reach through the fingertips all the way down to your toes. And then carefully bringing the arms alongside you. You could choose to keep your palms facing down. That's creating more of a grounding effect, or palms facing up to receive. If you have any discomfort in your lower back, bend your knees and knock the knees into touch, and that will help take any discomfort out of the lower back. So you may need to rock a little bit side to side. You may find that you want to bend your knees and rock them side to side. And then you're coming to a place of stillness. So either legs are extended in front of you or your knees are bent. And if it's comfortable for you, closing your eyes, drawing your awareness to your physical space. So what is your body physically touching? Acknowledging the body, what it's resting on, what parts of the body are touching the earth below you. Can you sense any type of temperature or air touching the body? Any sensations? And take a moment to acknowledge whatever it is that's going on in the mind. So any thoughts, perhaps you are reliving your day or you are thinking ahead to tomorrow. And that's okay. We're humans, we're meant to think, and your thoughts want you to acknowledge them. So acknowledging them. And then we will draw our awareness to our breath. So anytime you find that your thoughts are taking you off your mat, so again, reliving the day or bringing you into the past or the future, just acknowledge that that's what's happening without any judgments and come right back to your breath. Your breath will be your anchor. So we're using our breath as our anchor of awareness. And coming into some deep cleansing breaths. So on your inhale, if you can, using your nose only, you'll hold that inhale for as long as you can. And on your exhale, drawing your lips towards one another and push all of the old air out of the body. So it may sound something like, and doing this a few more times, noticing that on your inhale, your body may rise, your body may even feel like it's tensing up. But on your exhale, you're giving your body permission to give up its hold, to surrender, to create a deeper, fuller connection to the earth below you. And really allowing your exhale to linger. So you're taking that the fullest extent of your exhale, even listening to that little after breath. If it is comfortable for you, you'll begin to breathe in and out of your nose. This is a more effective way to breathe throughout the yoga practice. And syncing our breath with movement is what makes this yoga. So I'll prompt you to inhale, do something, exhale, do something else. So using the breath is what guides us. If you forget the breath work, that's okay. Just like your thoughts, acknowledge, okay, I forgot to use the breath work, and just come back to it. So offering yourself lots of kindness and patience and grace. So if you can, you're breathing in and out of your nose. Maybe you're sensing your belly rise on your inhale and send and deflate on your exhale. And we'll start to draw some attention to the lower body. So if your knees are bent, straightening your legs. Again, we'll reach the arms up and back behind us, coming into a full body stretch. And then on your inhale, bending your knees and draw your knees in slowly to your body. So your hands can either rest on your shins or underneath your knees. Pressing into the lower back, drawing the shoulders back and down away from your ears. And just allow yourself to gently rock side to side on your lower back. So offering the lower back a massage, some release, or some relief. And then bringing both of your feet down onto the ground, keeping your knees bent, arms are alongside you. Inhale, extend your right leg up in the air. Don't worry if your leg is not straight. It does not have to be straight. You just want to start to awaken the back of your legs or your hamstrings, and we'll start to point and flex the foot. And right now, you're just focusing on taking full inhales and deep, slow, controlled exhales. And then coming to a flexed right foot, you'll bend your right knee and guide your right ankle over to your left thigh. So your ankle's resting right above your left knee. This is a figure 4. So you could stay here and just gently press the right knee away from you. Or you could start to hug the legs in towards the body. So keeping the legs in the shape that they are, you'll reach your right arm through the whole of the right leg and your hands can meet the back of the left leg. This is called reclined pigeon or eye of the needle pose. The name of the pose really isn't important. It's noticing where you are targeting, where the area that is targeted, and to focus on that area. And focusing on your breath. So we can direct our breath to the area that is engaged by drawing it to our minds. And wherever our focus goes, our energy follows. This is also a really great way to relieve any tension in the lower back, and for any, if you have any sciatica or piriformis syndrome or anything to do with the glutes or hamstrings, this is your go-to. And then we'll release the hands, bring your left foot down onto the ground, and then you'll bring your right foot down to meet it. And you may here want to rock your knees side to side, or maybe extend the legs out in front of you, and then you'll come back to bent knees, and we'll do that on the other side. So keeping your right knee bent, inhale, extend your left leg slowly up in the air, totally okay if this leg is bent. Take a moment to observe differences on this side of the body. You can also support the back of the leg if you need that, and then pointing and flexing your foot. So we want to show some love to our ankles, as well as awakening the leg. This is really good if you've been on your feet all day. And then coming to a flexed left foot as you guide your left ankle to your right thigh, right above your right knee. If this is enough for you, staying here, otherwise keeping the legs in this shape and start to draw them in towards your body and let your hands meet somewhere behind your right leg. So that could be behind the knee, behind the thigh. So keeping your left foot flexed to protect your knee. Focusing on inhales, creating more space. And exhales, maybe you can draw the right thigh in closer to you and the left knee away from you. Being aware if you're holding any tension in your face. So softening your eyes, the mouth, the jaw, the neck. And then Releasing the hands alongside you very carefully, bringing your right foot down onto the ground and your left foot to meet it. So opening your legs or your knees and feet about hip width distance apart. We're going to come into some bridge poses, but for the lower back, and we're going to turn this into a flow so that we can also target the upper body. If you have any lower back pain or you're not supposed to do anything with the back, then just staying right here. Otherwise, on your inhale, you'll walk your heels in a little bit closer to your body, and on your inhale, you'll press into your feet and start to lift your hips and pelvis off of the ground. So your lower and mid back are off of the ground. And then extend the arms up and back behind you. So the back of the hands are resting on the earth behind you. Try not to move your head so we protect our neck. And idea here is to try to draw the inner thighs towards one another and keep lifting the pelvis and hips in the air. We'll take one inhale, and on your exhale with control, start to lower back down to the ground. And then carefully release the arms alongside you. And take a moment to pause here to realign the spine. We'll take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out of the mouth. And then doing that again. So make sure, please, that your knees and feet are open hip width apart. Inhale, start to peel the lower and mid back off of the ground. Reach the arms up and back behind you so you could draw your shoulders into the earth. You could rest the upper back into the earth, chin towards chest to protect the back of the neck. Try to draw the ribs in, knitting the ribs in so they're not kind of like telescoping out, so your core is engaged. And one more deep inhale. And exhale, slowly release down to the ground, bringing the back onto the earth, the arms alongside you. Walk your feet to the outer edges of the mat. Keep the knees separated, and you'll start to rock your knees side to side like windshield wipers. So they're splaying side to side. This is really nice to release the lower back. Your knees absolutely do not have to touch the earth. So now walking your feet into touch, your knees into touch. We'll hug the knees back into the body. So inhale and draw your knees back into your body. And we have a couple of options here. First option is where you can rock up and down on your spine to come up. So you're extending your legs behind you, bending your knees and rocking up. If this is not accessible, then you could just roll over to one side and then bring yourself up to rise. So please do, if you're rocking up and down the spine, your hands are underneath the knees, and we're gonna come right up into a seated position. So whatever that is for you, cross-legged, maybe you're sitting on a blanket to support yourself. Certainly do not have to be sitting like this. You could be crisscross applesauce. So you can either rest your hands on your thighs, or for support, bring your fingertips alongside you. And we're gonna work on the upper body. So from here, taking a deep inhale, root down into the earth, lift up through the crown of the head, and exhale, draw your chin in towards your chest. So you want to sit on a blanket or a pillow if you are having trouble sitting upright and lengthening your spine, or if you're feeling discomfort in the hips. Inhale, press into the fingertips and start to lift the chin up. Lifting only as high as it's comfortable for you to open your neck. If you have any neck pain or discomfort, then I don't recommend lifting the chin up. Taking another inhale here, exhale, lowering your chin to your chest. So we're nodding yes. Once more, inhale, lift the chin up. And you can keep your eyes closed if you want to. And exhale, chin to chest. Bringing your head back to center, and this time we're going to open the side of the neck. So taking a deep inhale, and I'll mirror you. And on your exhale, start to draw your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Try not to lift your shoulder up, so instead just let the head hang heavy. And if you want to take this further, you can wrap the right arm around your head and you're using your arm just as friction. So you're not pulling. This is only if you're not feeling anything and you want to take this a little bit further. Try not to rock over to the side. You're sitting up tall. And then inhale, turn to face the right shoulder, and exhale, draw your chin down towards your chest or your collarbone. Breathing into the side, maybe the back of the neck. So if I'm not prompting you with the breath, then you're just focusing on these deep, full breaths in and out of the nose. Inhale, lift your head up, bring your hand down onto the ground. Exhale, bring your head back to center. And before we do that on the other side, we're going to switch the cross of the legs. So extend your legs out in front of you. If you need to, you could shake them out. You can rock them side to side. And you're going to cross them the opposite way. So we're creatures of habit. We tend to cross and do everything the same way. So as you cross the other way, this may feel a little awkward. That's okay, as long as there's no pain. So we'll bring the fingertips back alongside us. Find that length in your spine, ground down into the earth. You may have to move a little bit. Take your inhale here and exhale. Now guide the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Allowing your head to hang heavy. If this is enough for you, stay here. Otherwise, bringing the left arm around the head and very gently offering some traction. So thinking about, you want to create more space between your right ear and your right shoulder. And then inhale, looking over towards your left shoulder. Exhale, draw your chin down. If this becomes too much, you can release the hand onto the earth. Inhale, lift the chin up, bring the hand onto the ground. Exhale, bring your head back to center. And then if you'd like, you could either come to full neck rolls, so you could circle your head in one direction. If that's not okay for the neck, you can rock your head side to side and take half neck rolls. So if you're taking the full neck rolls, slowly moving your head, inhale to lift your chin up. Exhale when you draw your chin down towards your chest. And then you'll find a pause when your chin is towards your chest and taking it opposite way. The slower you move, the more awareness you have of where you hold tension or where you're currently holding tension. Yoga is not a race to move quickly. It is not about pain. It is not about pushing ourselves over our edge. We're trying to find an edge that's challenging, but not creating any pain. You'll bring your head back to center, and now again, extend the legs out in front of you. Find any movement that will help you in your legs, so you can even lift your hips up. You can rock your knees side to side. You can massage your knees, and then we'll come on to tabletop. So that's hands and knees. So if you have sensitive knees, or if you're discovering right now that you have sensitive knees, placing something underneath your knees to support you. And you're trying to stack your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. And if you look behind you, you want to bring your feet behind your knees so that you can't see your feet. And we're going to come into what's known as cat and cow. So on your inhale, think about lowering your belly towards the ground, drawing your shoulders back and widening your collarbones, and you're taking your gaze forward or up. On the exhale, pressing the earth away from you, round your back. So lift your spine up towards the ceiling, navel to spine, chin to chest, so like you're a scared Halloween cat. Coming back to cow, so belly lowers towards the earth, heart opens. And then on the exhale, we round the back. So these are counter poses for one another, moving our spine two opposite ways. We'll take one more round of this. So inhale, cow, lower belly, open heart, gaze forward. And exhale, finding cat as you lift the spine up, Chin to chest, navel to spine. From here, bring your big toes to touch behind you. Start to sit back towards your heels. And we're coming into a child's pose. So walk your hands in towards you. You can open your knees as wide as it's comfortable for you. On the inhale, start to walk your hands towards the top of the mat. And exhale, lowering your head and heart down to the ground. So head does not have to touch the earth. You can place a pillow underneath your head. And we don't want to lift the hips up in the air to get the head to reach the earth. So if your hips are lifting up, try to sit back towards your heels. They don't have to reach, but that's the direction we're heading in. And you may want to rock your head side to side. This is your go-to child's pose when you find that you need a break. So it's a passive pose, but it's very effective as it's really targeting many parts of the body. And from here, pressing into your hands, inhale, start to bring yourself back up into tabletop position. So bringing your knees back underneath your hips. And we'll come into a little bit of a balancing challenge here. So making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. And we're finding the focal points somewhere in front of us that we can gaze on that's not moving. It's called your drishti. So on the inhale, shift your weight over into your right hand, extend the left arm in front of you, and then slowly extend your right leg behind you. So you don't have to lift your leg up high, no higher than the hip, and the arm doesn't have to lift any higher than the shoulder. If you're wobbly, that's okay. If you fall out, that's okay, you'll get back in again. Especially if you have a dog jumping on you, that's even more challenging. Like goat yoga. And we'll just come into a little bit of core work. So taking an inhale here, on the exhale, bring your elbow to meet your knee across your body and let your right foot hover over the earth. And then on the inhale, reach the arm out in front of you, leg behind you, and exhale, bring the hands onto the mat, bring your knee onto the mat. You can come back to a child's pose if you need to release your wrists, or you can even circle your hips in one direction. So a lot of the practice is moving intuitively. I'm here to guide you, but there may be something that you need that I'm not offering you. So I encourage you to find what will be best for you and your body. We'll come back to center. So making sure again that you're stacking shoulders over the wrists, fingers are spread nice and wide, and we'll find balancing tabletop. So finding your focal point. Inhale, slowly extend right arm in front of you, left leg behind you, and try to flex the foot so you're not opening up your hip. Key to this pose is core. Yes, it's upper body strength, but the more you can engage your belly, drawing it in and up towards the ribs, the more you're able to stay center and find balance. So focus on that breath, in and out through the nose. Taking an inhale, and on the exhale, elbow will meet the knee across the body, round the back, and left foot's hovering over the earth. Inhale, reach the arm in front of you, leg behind you. Exhale, hands onto the ground, knees onto the ground, and you can rock here side to side. You can come back to child's pose. You may even want to lift the hands up if you have any discomfort in your wrists. And then we're going to come into a full body stretch in downward facing dog. So walking your hands a couple of inches in front of your shoulders, tucking your toes. On your inhale, start to lift the hips in the air, straighten the legs as best as you can, and exhale, drawing your heels down towards the ground. So please know your heels do not have to touch the earth. Your legs do not have to be straight. Think of yourself as an inverted V. So you're an upside down V. Press the earth away from you. You're drawing your head down and looking back between the legs. And then you can start to pedal your feet. So bending one knee and then the opposite knee. This is not an easy pose. This takes a lot of work to get here. So it's a full body stretch, but it's not an easy pose. And from here, bring some bend into your knees. Take as much time as you need to walk to meet your hands. You can even bring your hands back to meet your feet. And then you're coming right into a ragdoll fold. So you're letting your upper body hang heavy over your legs. Hinging from your hips, and we're really just allowing the body to feel weightless. You can open your legs wider. You can bend your knees as deeply as you want. You can hold on to opposite elbows. Whatever will help you decompress your spine to release any tension from the neck, from the back, as well as any weight or burdens that you carry physically, emotionally, energetically. You can shake out the head. And then releasing the arms in front of you, pressing into the feet. Keep some softness in your knees, and you're rising really slowly. We want to be mindful of the lower back on an inhale. So drawing the navel back towards the spine. Letting your head be the last thing to come up. And then when you rise with head up, we'll draw the shoulders up, back, and down. So I'm just going to turn to face you. You don't have to turn on your mat. I'm going to turn just so you could see me better. So you're somewhere near the top of the mat. The feet are open about hip width distance apart. Inhale, reaching the arms up alongside the ears. Take your gaze up, and you're here. This is an upward salute. So we're standing tall on the ground. We're feeling the energy below our feet, but also through our fingers. And then interlace your fingers and press your palms away from you up towards the sky. And we're going to come into a side body stretch. So moving the spine in a lateral direction. So taking an inhale here, and on your exhale, start to move over to the right. So you're bringing the arms and torso with you over to the right. Your arms don't have to be straight. You could bring a bend in the elbows. You can even, if you need to, bend the knees. So we're finding space in the intercostal muscles, opening up the side body. Could feel really great for the lower back. Start to inhale as you do. Inhaling, you're coming back up to center. Pause and exhale, taking it over to the left. If you want to take this further, you can gaze up at your right arm. That will increase the opening in the side body. This is usually pretty intense because there's not many things we do throughout the day that we're moving in this direction. Inhale, slowly come back up to center, pausing here, and then exhale, releasing the arms alongside you. And you're standing in what's known as mountain pose. So closing your eyes, release your shoulders away from your ears. Engage in your body, so you're standing tall and you're feeling the engagement of the body, but also noticing softness. So I know it sounds kind of strange, but being able to engage while feeling soft, not feeling like you're like this wooden soldier. And then we're going to come into something known as sun breath. It's a way to increase our circulation, our heart rates, break up any kind of blockages of energy. So with arms alongside you, inhale, I'll turn this way now so you can see me from the side. Inhale, lift your arms up alongside your ears, bring your hands together, and then you'll bring your hands down to your heart, hinge forward from your hips, and then come to a fold. So just release the hands down towards the ground, fold over the legs. Hands don't have to touch the earth. So this is our forward fold. From here, bring your hands onto your shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. So you're kind of in this halfway motion. We're finding extension in our spine. And then on your exhale, hinge from your hips again and fold over your legs. On an inhale, reach the arms out alongside you. Engage your core. Bring yourself up to rise. No rush to come up. Arms come alongside the ears, gaze up, bring your hands together down to your heart, and then hinge forward from your hips, and then release and fold over your legs, and shifting your weight into your heels, so you're activating the back of the legs. Hands come onto the shins, inhale, halfway lift. So you're reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, hinge again from the hips, fold over the legs. Inhale, reaching the arms wide alongside you as you come up to rise. And we'll take this one more time. Bring your hands together down through your heart. Start to fold forward, leading with your heart. And then exhale, fold over your legs, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring hands onto your shins, extension in your spine, draw your shoulders back. And exhale, folding over your legs, let your head hang heavy. Inhale, reach the arms up alongside you, coming up to rise. And then bringing the palms together. And this time, let your hands rest at your heart center, just like this. Close your eyes here. And taking 3 deep, full breaths. So focusing on full inhale, but a long, controlled exhale. And if you would like to set an intention, you could do so now. So if there's something you want to bring into your life, to create, to call in, you're stating that right now, but in a positive present tense statement. Or you can just repeat words and things a way that you want to feel. That could be your intention. Flutter the eyes open. Inhale, gaze up, lift your hands up with you. So we're sending that intention up and out. And exhale, release the arms alongside the body. Bringing your big toes to touch, you'll have a slight space between your heels. And we're coming into a powerful pose, chair pose. So thinking about on your inhale, you bend your knees, reach your hands down towards the ground, and then sweep the arms up. So you're sitting back as if you were in a chair, body's at about a 45-degree angle. You can open your arms wider or alongside your ears. Trying to look down so that you could see your toes. If you can't see your toes, you want to shift the hips back even more. This is going to be the most powerful pose in the whole practice. So we're just going to hold here for a couple of more breaths, build up some heat, offering our body a little bit of a challenge. Take one more inhale, and on your exhale, straighten your legs, fold over your legs, and come right back to your forward fold. You can sigh out of your mouth. You can open up your feet wider. You can grasp opposite elbows again. Maybe you need to shake out your head or shake out your legs. And then again, we'll bring the hands onto the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again over your legs. Inhale, come up to rise, sweep the arms up alongside you. And with your arms up alongside you, stay just like this. Interlace your fingers again, press your palms away from you. And we're coming into a balanced pose. So my palms are flipped and they're up towards the ceiling. So it's finding one thing to focus on. This is called palm tree pose. On your inhale, start to rise up onto your toes and stay here. It's a really nice way to connect to our calves. Trying to soften your shoulders as best as you can, as they will naturally lift up. Make sure you're not holding tension in your face. If you fall down, get right back up again. Keep the belly engaged. One more deep inhale, and exhale, release the heels down with control and the arms alongside you. And if you need to, you can open and close your hands. Sometimes people kind of lose sensation in their hands. All right, so we're going to start to make our way back down onto the ground. So inhale, reach your arms up, bring your hands together. Exhale, hinge from your hips, come down to your forward fold. Inhale, bring your hands onto your shins, halfway lift. And on the exhale, plant your hands onto the ground, step your right foot behind you, and bring your right knee down onto the ground. So left foot's at the top of the mat, right knee's on the ground. From here, you'll come up to rise, which can challenge your balance, and lift your arms up with you. This is a low lunge. So you could stay like this with your knees stacked over your ankle, or if you have the flexibility in the hips and hip flexor, you could start to glide your left knee forward. And then we're going to come into a twist. So we make sure that we move our spine in all directions in our practice. So your right hand will come inside your left foot on the ground, or you could tense your fingertips, and then you're reaching your left arm up as best as you can. Try to draw your left shoulder back. This pose is more challenging than you would think, and it does take a lot of balance. So inhale, gaze down, frame your left foot. So now your left hand is down, both hands are on down, and we'll bring the left knee back to meet the right knee. And you could come either to a child's pose, or you can come back up to downward facing dog before we do that on the other side. So please do whatever feels best for you. And again, remember, if your mind is taking you somewhere off of your mat, or if you're judging yourself and saying, oh my goodness, I'm not flexible, or I thought I was better, or I used to be able to do this, please replace those words with some kindness, some loving kindness, some grace, some compassion. So if you're in down dog, you'll come down onto your hands and knees. If you're in child's pose, you'll come back onto your hands and knees. And from here, everyone will meet in downward facing dog. So we have to do that on the other side. So to do that, we'll gaze forward, take as many steps as you need to meet your hands, trying to get to the top of the mat, bend the knees if you need to. Come back to that halfway lift where your hands will come onto your shins. You're looking forward. Exhale again, fold over your legs. And inhale, reach the arms up with you as you come up and rise. Bring your hands together overhead, down to the heart. Hinge forward from your hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, halfway lift. And now plant your hands down onto the ground. Step the left foot behind you, right foot stays at the top of the mat. Let the left foot carefully come onto the ground. Engage your core, find your focal point to gaze upon, and come up to rise in your low lunge. So you can play around with this side. Maybe this side you're able to glide forward. Maybe you have more open in the psoas. Maybe you're stacking the knee. That's okay. Try to keep the core engaged and lift up from the tailbone. And we'll come into that twist. So left hand inside right foot, and then reaching the right fingertips up. So if you can gaze up, you're looking at your right thumb and the back of the right hand. And then taking the gaze down, bring the right hand outside the right foot. And again, option here, child's pose, down dog, or you could just stay in tabletop. And you could stay still, or you could find movement. So this is low lunge. And if you're in down dog, come back onto your knees. If you're in tabletop, coming onto your knees, and then start to walk your hands towards the top of the mat. Flatten your feet and very carefully lower down onto your stomach, and then all the way down onto your forehead. So you're on your belly. Walking your hands underneath your shoulders, we're going to lift up to a baby cobra. So this is not meant to be a very active back bend. On your inhale, you're pressing into the tops of your feet and your pelvis. The only thing that's lifting, or things, you're lifting your head, your heart, your shoulders, and you're in your baby cobra. So on the inhale, very carefully lift up head, heart, shoulders. Either very little weight in your hands so that you're not using your arms to do this, or you could take your hands and lift them up off of the mat. Again, Please don't make this too active. So just looking down, no tension in the back of the neck. And then very carefully, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and bring your forehead back onto the mat and pause here. And we'll take a cleansing breath in through the nose and release out of the mouth. So pressing into your hands, come onto your knees. And two options. You could sit back towards your heels, child's pose, or you can sit on your heels. You just want to find a place to find a neutral spine. If you're sitting here on your heels, thunderbolt pose, bring your hands onto your thighs, close your eyes, and we'll take some shoulder rolls. So on your inhale, lift your shoulders up. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down, shoulder blades down towards the tailbone. We'll do that again. Inhale, lifting the shoulders up. Exhale, rolling back and down. And once more, inhale, lift your shoulders up. And exhale, roll them back and down. So we're starting to cool down, opening up your eyes. We're going to shift the hips in one direction, but I want you to shift them in the way that feels awkward. So if your body wants to go right, go left. If your body wants to go left, go right, and try not to think about it. Try to just realize what's awkward. Yoga teaches us more about our body awareness and our habits. So you're shifting one way, the awkward way, and extending your legs in front of you. Bringing your feet to the top of the mat, just rock side to side so you can ground down into the earth. Your legs are either together or hip width distance apart. From here, root down into the ground, reach the arms up, inhale, and exhale, we're coming to a forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So your hands do not have to touch your toes. Just let your hands rest somewhere. Your head does not have to be touching your legs. Bend your knees if your hamstrings are tight. And start to intentionally deepen your breath. So we now want to keep the back round. No tension in the back, no tension in the neck. You don't even have, you can bring your hands if you want alongside your legs. Just let your head kind of dangle. And start to notice what happens to the body on your inhale, and then what happens to your body on your exhale. So if I was asked like 3 or 4 yoga poses to do every day, this would be one of them. Connecting to the whole posterior chain of the body. This is really, really relaxing to be in a fold. Great to do at night, but great to do in the morning to wake the legs up and the back up. You certainly feel this in your back, even though the focus is the back of the legs, the hamstrings. And now we want to be mindful of the back. So you press into your hands to lift yourself back up, coming up slowly. Pause here, and then we'll slowly lower ourselves down onto our back. So with control, engage your core, reach your arms out in front of you, and start to slowly lower yourself down onto your back, one vertebra at a time. Becoming slowly, slowly, slowly. I'm just going to zoom myself in. When you reach the earth, bend your knees and hug your knees back in towards your body. And here you may want to fully release your back. You could start to rock side to side on your lower back. It may feel good to circle your knees in one direction and then the opposite way. Everything you're doing now on your back is slow and mindful because we're preparing the body to cool down, to safely cool down our muscles. You could start to close your eyes. And with your knees bent, take your hands behind the legs and inhale, start to extend both legs up in the air. And you can have your legs together, you could separate them. You could find gentle movement if you want in the ankles by circling them one way and then opposite way. Maybe you're pointing and flexing your feet. Legs in the air. So really great way to unwind, especially at the end of a day that maybe you've been on your feet. And we'll come into a final twist on the back. So draw the legs together, bend the knees, and keep the knees bent and lifted towards the body. Opening up your arms level with your shoulders in like a T shape or with a bend in your elbows, whichever serves you best. Palms are facing up. Take an inhale here and exhale. Just allow your knees to come over to the left side and you're in a twist. Now, what's important is that your right shoulder and shoulder blades stay on the ground. So your knees are left. If it's okay for your head, you're looking to the right. And this is the fullest expression of your twist, a supine twist. It's not supposed to be active, it's supposed to be passive. Your knees do not have to be stacked, your feet don't have to be stacked. You could do whatever you want with your legs. Just continue to encourage your breath to slow down by staying aware of it, by watching it rise and fall. Softening your fingers, your toes. And to come out of the pose, carefully inhale, lift your knees back up and draw them back into the body. And giving them a little hug, give yourself a squeeze. Opening up the arms again, either that T shape or bend in the elbows, palms facing up. Inhale first and exhale, let the knees come over to the right. You can even, if you need to, scoot your hips over to the left. So you can play around with bringing your knees closer towards your head or further away. Closer to your head, more intense for the lower back. Again, your knees don't have to touch the earth. You could place something underneath them or between the knees. Gently turning to the left. Press your left shoulder and shoulder blade into the ground. Checking back in with your facial muscles as you soften your forehead, soften your eyes, soften your mouth. And then slowly inhale, lift the knees back up to center. Bring your hands onto your shins. And if it's okay for your neck, lift your head up towards your knees and come into a full body hug. Giving yourself a hug, showing yourself gratitude, thanking yourself for trying something new or for just doing something that's really great for your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, for your overall well-being. Start to slowly release your shoulders and head down to the ground. Release the hands, bring the feet back onto the earth. Take any final movement here that feels intuitive, that feels needed, and then we'll come into the pose that we started in. So that corpse pose, or at the end of the practice, it's called Shavasana. So if you have no lower back pain, you'll extend the legs in front of you, opening up the legs towards the outer edges of the mat. Let your feet fall out to the sides. Open up your arms several inches away from your body with your palms facing up if you can to draw your shoulders back. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Trying to connect as many parts of the back of the body into the earth without effort. And give up your hold. Let yourself be supported. Let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. And allow your mind to stay focused on the body as you Mentally scan your body. Start at your toes. Noticing differences or changes in your body as you slowly scan up to the crown of your head, top of your head, and then travel back down to your toes, doing this as many times as you need to until you feel relaxed, calmer, more comfortable, less fidgety. Resolving to be still in the final pose of the practice, Shavasana. Begin to become aware again of where your body is, what's touching your body, what your body is touching, keeping your eyes closed. Take an inhale through the nose, feel your belly rise. A gentle exhale out of the mouth as the belly deflates. Kindly start to wake your body up as you wiggle your fingers or your toes or both. You can bring movement into your wrists, into your ankles. You may notice that you have to bend your knees, maybe hug them into the body, maybe take a full body stretch or rock your head side to side. In your own time, you'll bend your knees, and only if it's comfortable for you, rolling all the way over onto your right side in fetal posture. So you can use your right arm as a pillow. Your knees are bent and you're just in this tight ball, maybe of comfort. Maybe it's not a tight ball. Maybe you want to take up more space. But this is the pose of rebirth and renewal. So we want to end here, not in corpse pose, but in our pose of rebirth to prepare us for our next practice. Drawing to mind the dedication or intention that you set, if you set one, or just the feelings that you want to attract and bring into your life. And using the assistance of your hands, you'll carefully press yourself up to rise in a comfortable seat. This is the best way to do that, to support your lower back. You'll come into a seat of your choice, ground down into the earth. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, soften your shoulders, close your eyes. Just take a moment to just come into gratitude for your practice, for this time to connect with community, for the ability to be able to move physically. And then we'll bring our thumb knuckles to the space right between the two physical eyes. This is our third eye. This is our intuition. This is our inner vision, our inner voice, our inner wisdom that's always guiding us. We just don't always listen. I want to thank you for practicing with me this evening, and thank you for all of your hard work and for helping our community. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Together we bow and say, Namaste.